Okay, welcome back everybody. We're into technically roughly the last week of the month for gold overview. Let's go over to TradingView and take a look at what's been going on. So for those of you that have been paying attention to these overviews, we have totally and utterly attacked the wick to the upside. And we are in a situation now where price can really go either way. If we take a look at the weekly and we zoom out, we can see that this is still an uptrend on the weekly. We had this pullback for the back end of last month, and then we had this support created for the first week of November. Support was created, next candle then decided to shoot up, sellers came in, buyers won that candle. Last week, sellers were trying to pull back down but run out of volume. So this is either going to break the low of last week and fall, or break the high of last week and go for all-time highs, in my opinion. So it's going to be a very interesting time to watch, and we're definitely going to get some volume coming in. So if we look at the TK lines, we're above both of them. However, we do have a split to the downside, means nothing at the moment. The first area, and I'm going to let me delete everything so you can see this. So the first area I'm going to map out, or two areas should we say, I'm going to map out the high and put that in yellow, and I'm going to map out the low. All right, so those are the two main areas that if we do get aggressive closes on higher time frames like 1, 2, 3 hour and above, then high possibility it's going to continue that direction. If we go to the daily, we can see quite clearly we are well and truly below the daily. Now we do have a nice uptrend from anywhere around this zone. There is our uptrend on the daily. Actually, let me mark that out slightly differently. I'm going to put it from here. So that's our daily uptrend that we have. Let's make that green. And then we also have a daily downtrend as well. So we've got the high up here, and we've got this lovely aggressive selling volume to the downside. So let's make that dark red. Perfect. Other than that, we're below TK lines. However, TK lines are all the way up here. So a pullback up is definitely more on the card. So I'm more favorable just looking on the daily and now looking at the 12 hour that we are potentially going to have a push to the upside first. Doesn't mean that we're going to continue that way, but a push up to the upside. So just looking on the 12 hour, I am looking at this move happening, something like this for tomorrow, and then a push up to attack this wick to the upside at least, and then we'll see what happens. So more than likely, market open, Asian session, maybe even going into London, we're going to be looking for potential buys to the upside unless something else changes. Nothing else that I can see at the moment here. So I'm going to go to the 8 hour. Let's take a look at the 8 hour. And instantly I've got one of my key supply zones up at the top. So we're going to map that out. And that is a ram candle, and to the downside I don't see any ram candles at all except for all the way down here. Can you see that? So let's make that dark green. There we go, perfect. Nothing else to see at the moment. That's the 8 hour. Now let's go to the 8 hour. There is something to see. 8 hour, sorry, let me get to 12. Okay, 12 hour TK lines, nothing really to see. 8 hour, we are looking like we have a slight split happening. Can you see that? So one is here, the other one is here, which means we could get this type of move up to that area, which all aligns nicely with the 12-hour candle as well. Now, ideally, what we need to see is this blue indicator coming down below price on the lower time frames, so that indicates more that we're going to go short-term up. Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's zoom out. Nothing else to see at the moment. Let's go to the 3 hour. Are we above TK lines? We're in between. Okay, nothing else to see there at the moment on the 3 hour. Let's go to the 2. Great, we've got a lovely ram candle right here that has not been used on the 2 hour. Anything else? We have this area here. I'm going to map that out as dark red. And anything down below that I can see, let's quickly go over to the left. Nothing of interest. Okay, cool. Let's just focus on this area now. All right, we're near enough above TK lines on the 2 hour. Sorry, I did miss something there. Let me go back. Look at that. That is our discounted area. I wouldn't look to take a buy there. I'd look to see if I can catch market open, respect this trend line, and then come back down, and then bounce into this area. And then once I see something like that happen, which breaks this trend line, then that's where I'll be looking for the buys up to that top side. If we can get the breakout. Let's take a look here. No, okay, cool. So 1 hour, let's take a look at the 1 hour. Zoom out. Let's see, anything else here? Nothing much. We've got a nice lower time frame trend line created here. And we do have a nice round candle there. What time frame is this? This is 1 hour, so we're going to make that a darker color still. Perfect. Okay. And I do see a round candle all the way down here. So I'm going to make that a 1 hour as well. So let me do that. 45 minute. Look at the TK lines. Cool. Nothing else to see. 30 minute. 30 minute. We've got a double confirmation here. Perfect. And let's see over here. Nice gap. And then we've got this area. So this will be TP1. I'll do it like this, like this, and I'll put a line at the body of that white candle as well. There, perfect. Okay, and I do see another round candle all the way at the top here. So let's make that color, and then I've got another one right here that price has not touched. So if I'm looking for sells at that area, that's where the sell will be. Cool. Other than that, I don't see anything. We are currently below TK lines. Can you see that? But because we've been bouncing around, can you see all of this bouncing around in here? It's made all these TK lines come flat together, which means I'm waiting for that type of move. Once we break this zone of around 480. Now, if market opens pushing up, I'm not interested. I want it to come back down first and then start to break this area. So once I start to see that move happen, then that's when I'll be more inclined to think that buys are valid. And then I'll be looking at this area, which is now a weekly high. And if it does break that area, then straight into that zone as well. Now, the last thing you need to take into consideration are the session times, or sorry, the sessions, and see if there's any areas where there is liquidity. Okay, so we can see here, this is a NY high. We have a previous Asian high. Both of these are not mitigated. And we have another high at the top, which is why when you see these highs get broken, don't just take the buy at this area. It's probably going to reject at that zone and fall back down for a certain period of time. Below, we have London liquidity, so London low here. And we also have another London low over here as well. And the Asian low next to it had already been taken out, so that's a good sign. Do that. Here we go. And if we do break, then we've got some more areas down here of New York. Perfect. And we have another Asian low all the way down here. Perfect. Other than that, sorry, another one. So these dotted lines just indicate that we have the liquidity at these areas. And this is why you see where our dark green, when it comes down to the area, high possibility it's going to take out that low. Okay, cool. So we now have our play. So let's turn this off and let's go back to the daily. Take a look at how it looks on the daily now. Zoom out. And this is looking really nice for a potential market open, tapping into this area, then coming down, taking out this wick to the downside at the start, coming into these zones, and then we're going to see if it bounces back and breaks this area. And that's where I'm really looking for buys. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a slight little push up. If we go to, let's say, the 4 hour, let's take a look at the 4. Yeah, so a slight little push up, push down. Whether it takes out this liquidity here, I don't know. And then see, once we break this area of, where did I say it was? Of around 4,088, that's where I'm looking for the buys to continue up to these areas. Obviously, with a pullback at these zones and then continue up. That's the play for now. I'll leave these markings up and I look forward to seeing you on the call tomorrow.